V'isha el achoisa loisikach litzrar. When you bring two sisters into a marriage with one man, one sister becomes a source of distress and anxiety for the other sister. Why did Yaakov allow himself to do it? So you'll say, well, he made a promise for Rachel, he had to. Okay, but nonetheless, if this was the situation, perhaps he could have explained it to Rachel, there's going to be a tzara here, there's going to be a problem here. So the Rebbe adds that Yaakov felt that in this situation, the litzrar will not apply. Why? When Yaakov ended up with Leah, and then he met Rachel, he probably asked her, what happened with the Simonim? I gave you signs. How did Leah know them? And perhaps Rachel had to tell him the truth. I gave them over to Leah. Yaakov Avinu said, if this is my Rachel, even if I marry her and Leah is going to be another wife, they're not going to become a source of tsaras for each other. In this home, there will not be a hatred that will turn two loving sisters into enemies, because they know how to compromise. They know how to forgo their own benefits for the other. If Rachel is capable of such self-sacrifice, there won't be a litzard in this situation. And indeed, we see two stories. When Leah is giving birth and Rachel is struggling with infertility, it says Rachel was jealous of her sister. So what does Rashi say? Kina b'ma'aseh ha'toivim. She was jealous because of her good deeds. In other words, this wasn't a jealousy of, I can't stand my sister, she's happy, she's successful, she's having children, her husband is going to love her, I hate her. No, it's a kina b'ma'aseh ha'toivim. I want to learn from Leah. And when Leah begins her 7th pregnancy, Leah is afraid that it's going to be a son. And then Rachel will not even have 2, because she knew that Yaakov was going to have 12 sons. She had 6. Bilhah and Zilpah each had 2. So that's 10. If Leah now has a 7th son, it's going to be number 11. So Rachel will not even have 2 sons. In other words, she will have less than the maids. And that perturbs Leah to her core. And what happens? She prays that the fetus should be transformed. And instead of having a son, she has a daughter, and that is Dinah. Even though there was pain and even though there were difficulties, but litzrar, there was no litzrar. Yaakov was right. And therefore the whole logic that the Torah gives why two sisters can't marry each other doesn't apply to Leah and Rachel. And therefore Yaakov could marry Leah and Rachel, even though after Matan Torah it's an Issur. But for Yaakov Avinu, it was the right thing according to Rashi's perspective on Torah.
TheYeshiva.net